Welcome everyone to another edition of Sports Opinions with Regular Guys. Frank, this is Mike, and we just got finished with all of the games on this past Sunday for the NFL, which was what was that week? Help me there, Mike.
Oh, right now it was week. Damn, you got me.
16? Week 16?
15.
15. Week 15.
That was week 15.
So we got done with week 15, NFL week 15. Yeah, it was week 15. And some upsets, some come from behind wins. Particularly one broke the NFL record for the biggest come from behind win in NFL history, regular season and postseason. And we'll get into that a little bit when we get into the games. Probably get a little bit into the Bulls. I mean, I don't know how much more I can just keep hitting the seam. They won tonight. That doesn't justify the last.
Against the Heat.
Yeah, still, it doesn't justify the last how many losses, especially back-to-back home losses to New York Knicks.
Yeah.
On the at home. Anyway, we'll get into all of that, but of course we always start off with our Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
And they got another loss, which is
Unfortunately, I'm getting used to it now, which I shouldn't be.
You should have been getting used to this from the start of the season, which I told you about. They were only going to win 3 games, and I'm right about it. So they lost. I wouldn't call it a heartbreaker, because a lot of the games are close, but they end up losing it down the stretch to the Eagles, 25-20. It was a close game, but Justin Fields, I thought, had a good game. I don't think he threw any picks. He threw for 2 touchdowns.
Yes.
He didn't run for any touchdowns this week, but he almost ran for 100 yards. He broke Bears' record of 1,000 yards. He's only about 207 yards from breaking the NFL record that was set by Lamar Jackson a couple of years ago. And he has, 3 games left to do it?
So I think that's why he still wants to play and wants to be in so he can set that record, which he will if he stays in these last 3 games.
This game was interesting because they gave Philadelphia a fight. As a matter of fact, Justin Fields was the best quarterback that the Philadelphia Eagles played against this season. He had the highest quarterback rating against any other quarterback against this defense, which is a top-notch defense in the league, which is why I got them going to the Super Bowl. But Justin Fields had a pretty good game against them. He threw for 152 yards, but he threw for 2 touchdown passes. He ran for 95 yards. They didn't really have an answer for him either that much, But that's how it comes to show you. We got something on our hands with him, and we just got to get him some weapons, and it'll be okay. But what I want to say, because I watched this game, like I watch pretty much all Bears games, even though sometimes I don't want to, but I do if Justin Fields is playing because I want to see his development. But the Bears absolutely, you could tell, they tanked this game with the defensive plays they had. Especially, there was a couple of plays where Jalen Hurts had was right a dead center. I think it was 3rd and something or 4th down or 3rd down.
Yeah.
So
right by the goal line, 5 yards to go.
Yeah. So the play was designed for him to run it down the middle.
Yeah.
Now the Bears saw what was going on. You got the safety who was in the back looking at this. What does he do instead of running towards Jalen Hurts when it was snapped? He goes on the opposite side of the field. What the hell he was doing, I don't know. But you would have known this guy's going to run the ball and take it right down the middle. You could have stopped him dead in his tracks. They didn't do that. They let him score right down the middle. Didn't get touched.
Yep.
And so that play there told me you guys are tanking, which, is not so bad because each loss is a win for the Bears. So they lost another game, so they're 3-11.
Yeah, 3-11.
Okay.
2-5 at home.
And they are also holding on right now to that number 2 overall pick in the NFL draft.
I'm so sick of hearing about it.
I'm not, because they can either draft a defensive end, which is what they need, because they need pass rushers, or they can get a desperate team, because there are going to be some desperate teams that want a quarterback. Lots of them. They are going to probably make a call into the Bears and say, hey, Bears, we know you got your quarterback in place. Why don't we swap our first-round picks with you? And not only will we give you our first-round pick, we'll give you our second-round pick and our third-round pick. We're going to rack up. We'll give you some picks to rack up on in this draft. then we can build the defense or the offense out even more on
Mhm.
top of the picks they already have.
Right.
On top of the 120 or 130 million dollars they got in cap space, the most out of any team in the NFL.
Right.
The second closest is the Atlanta Falcons, I think, with 70 million. So by far, the Bears have the most to spend. So this loss is just another loss, folks, but it's not. It's a win for the Bears. They're going to be horrible as this year winds down. Finally, I'm just hoping that Fields does not get hurt, because I really think they should rest him the rest of the season. That's what I feel, and I don't want him to be. I don't want him playing. That's our future. That's our franchise quarterback for the next 10 years.
That's what I've been.
Especially with the players that they could get next season, the drafting and the money they could spend, they could build this team to be competitive for the next 10 to 15 years. This draft is very important to the Bears, and I don't care what anybody says. This is going to put a test to Poles, to the GM Ryan Poles, and Matt Eberflus to make sure that they have good scouts, and we will see how good this GM does, because you cannot fuck this up. I'm sorry. Any GM would be delighted to have what the Bears have upcoming season. This is a GM's dream. Like, not only do I got all the money to spend on the most of any team, I have probably the most picks I can pick out of any team.
Yeah.
This upcoming draft. You should be able to address damn near every single position that you need to address.
Agreed.
They already, and on top of that, they got the most important. They got the most important position already filled, and that's the quarterback. That's your QB1. And so that's the most important piece to get. And if you have that, you have your franchise quarterback in place, you're good. Now you got to get all your other pieces in place. And you got all these draft picks and all this money to spend. There's no reason why they can't. I can't wait till the offseason. I can't wait to see what they do. And I already said they're going to be an improvement. They're going to go from worst to first. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to win double-digit games. And it'll just be, I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I do got them making the playoffs. I got them winning about 12 to 13 games next season.
Wow. From 3 wins to 13 wins.
And I don't want to go back. I don't want to take anything away from Jalen Hurts, because actually he didn't have a very good game. He threw for 315 yards, but he also threw 2 interceptions.
Yeah, and they were
as a passing game.
Pretty bad interceptions,
yeah,
too.
He had put up 2 interceptions, I think, the whole year or something like that. And but he had a good rushing game because he rushed for 3 touchdowns, which was pathetic. But the Bears can't stop him.
61 yards also to add on to it.
But his passing game was horrible.
I don't know. 315 yards is not horrible.
No touchdown passes.
The 2 interceptions were bad.
But he was able to get away with it.
He was moving the ball.
This is what you call your giveaway bad game.
I want you to see this play here, which I didn't like, when Justin Fields scrambled, went down, and still got hit from behind.
That was Dirty Sue.
By yeah.
Yes, I know. That's what we're calling. That's what the Bears were calling this out.
That's what I
wanted. And Justin Fields was calling it out.
That's what I was trying to tell you.
Why is Dirty Sue getting away with this shit?
Yeah.
They didn't call, and Justin Fields get pissed off about it too, because he keeps getting late hits and they're not calling it.
Yeah.
They're not making the calls.
I think he's earned his stripes now to actually get those calls. He's legitimately a star. He's legit a star.
If he doesn't get it this year, he will next year.
He's a 1,000-yard rushing quarterback. I think he's the 3rd quarterback in the NFL to rush for these 1,000 yards, or is it for the Bears?
He's the third quarterback to rush for 1,000 yards. He's the first Bear to rush for 1,000 yards.
I mean, that's crazy numbers.
He broke Bobby Douglas's record.
That's crazy numbers.
Who had
right
like
there.
900 and something yards.
And he's gonna kill that 1,000-yard rushing, because he's gonna get a couple. He's gonna get a couple more yards.
He might break
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson's yard. I think he had like 1,200 and something.
And I think this man is gonna break it.
Yeah, he definitely has a chance to do it. I personally think. Okay, look. How about this?
Go.
If he breaks this record next week
against
the Bills, it's possible.
200 yards in 1 week?
Well, he put up 200 yards, didn't he, already?
All right.
Close to it?
Okay.
If he doesn't break it next week,
okay,
then he'll break it against the Lions.
The Lions, it'll happen.
Okay?
Yep.
So, either way, I say this. If he breaks the record either next week or the week at the Lions, could you then shut him down?
Yes.
Is there any reason for him to play against the Vikings? The Bears don't need the win.
I guess to get more.
For
him to get more yards for his record, I'm guessing.
I don't think
it's not worth it.
It's not worth it to me.
I've been saying to
Just
sit him down
before
we played against the Packers.
I wanted him to play against the Packers, and that was it after that. I don't want him to play anymore. I really don't want him to play no more now. But hey, I just hope he doesn't get hurt. I really don't, because that's our future. But the Bears are in a good position. If he gets hurt, they can draft another quarterback.
That is true.
They are in a certain position. But I don't want to use Justin Fields as no scapegoat and just sacrifice him. That's your franchise quarterback. And I think he'll be good. Don't fuck it up and get him injured. Don't pull a Tom Thibodeau what he did to Derrick Rose and ruin Derrick Rose's career. Don't play him if it's unnecessary. And I think it's unnecessary to play him.
I agree.
That's how I feel. The Eagles had a good game, but I guess I wouldn't really call them a good game for them because they only scored 25 points.
Listen,
at least they didn't score 40 on us like they did. Who went to
that run, 50 yards.
Yeah.
You saw this when he.
Yeah, I saw that. And he should have got that touchdown when he stepped out of bounds slightly. That right, it would have been a 6 touchdown rushing touchdown. They can't get him.
That boy's sick. Yo, first of all, the Eagles are 13-1.
Yes, they are.
They are the best team in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
record-wise. Yes.
Record-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think the Bears did a good job playing against them, even though they lost. They had all their starters out there, but like you just mentioned, they only mustered 25 points against the Bears. So I was really impressed by the fact that the Bears picked Jalen Hurts off twice, because that's not like that. He's usually a lot more careful with the ball.
Defense didn't give up no 40 points like some of these teams have been giving up to the Eagles.
Yeah. So I think that was a very underperforming Philadelphia Eagles, 25-20. But I think it looked good and it's promising for us, because imagine when we actually take games seriously next year.
We won't see them next year unless it's in the playoffs, because they're not on the schedule for next
season. I mean, for the Bears, when we actually get serious, we're not going to be blowing games in the end. We're not going to be muffing passes. Oh, your boy Velus Jones, I think he's done. Because I think he messed up again. Did he fumble? He fumbled at the end of the game, and I think he's done.
What are you talking?
It's the same guy that had the ball bounce off his helmet when he was trying to catch the ball. Velus Jones. He's a
Jones?
special teams player for.
Well, they'll get rid of some of these guys. And,
well, it's time for him to go because he's made so many.
And what's with this guy? What's our kicker Santos, who can't make extra points? If you can't make extra points and you can kick 50-yard field goals, then I think it's time to replace him.
It's one bad season. Remember, we
got
rid of Robbie Gold.
Then they need to
see that happen again.
Robbie Gold already established himself, and they got rid of him because they didn't want to pay him.
Santos went on and established himself.
Then maybe they should think about going for 2. But we'll see. He has work to do. But they made it a game for the most part of the game. I'm glad they didn't get blown out. I mean, if they stay competitive, that's fine. But it doesn't get any easier for the Bears because now Buffalo comes to town. Now we got Josh Allen coming to town, and Saturday. It's actually Saturday.
Yeah.
And we don't even know what it's going to look like Saturday. Buffalo's used to playing in shit weather. Justin Fields is not yet.
Well,
we'll get used to it.
We have used the elements against other teams this year.
Yeah,
so.
Buffalo, they are the elements, though. Look where they play.
Yeah.
So teams like that, they're used to playing in this type of weather, so it won't bother them. So it'll be 2 cold weather teams playing each other. But again, I hope the Bears don't blow the game. Don't have a blowout loss. Make it competitive for a little while and then lose maybe. But overall, I mean, I haven't got mad about the only loss I got really mad about the Bears is when they lost to the Packers. Other than that, I didn't really get too upset about them losing these other games because I expected them to be bad. So this is no different. I just hope that Justin Fields stays healthy. That's all I ask for. Finishes the game, or the game is a blowout. We gotta take him out the game, and that's it. So, but. It's going to be another tough one for the Bears, but they'll have a last place schedule next year. So,
well, one thing I'm hoping for next year is that we get our hands on Saquon Barkley that sparked interest in coming here to Chicago.
That'll be the end of Montgomery's era here then.
Well, I feel like Montgomery's is a good rusher, right?
Yeah, but they're going to have to pay him.
But the problem with him is he always starts off strong at the beginning of the season, and as the season goes on,
No, last year
Those
he
numbers
actually.
just aren't.
Well,
there
last
like
year
that.
he picked it up at the end of the year because he was hurt at the beginning of the year.
53 yards.
Well,
rushing
remember.
last game.
Well, you got to remember though, he's not getting. Look who's getting all the rushing yards. Basically, it's Justin Fields got 1,000 yards, so that's where he's getting most of the carries are going to him.
Montgomery
No
had
choice.
12 carries for 53
And then you got to realize Khalil Herbert in the beginning of the year, up until a few weeks ago when he got hurt, was also getting some carries too. So it's kind of hard for Montgomery to get those carries to get to 1,000 yards
Right.
because you have a three-headed monster there that's sharing the ball rushing. That's why the Bears are able to put up 200 yards rushing a game. Damn near. That's why they're the number one rushing team in the league, because you have three people who are going to put up who are a good rushing team. So it's going to be hard for him to get 1,000 yards. When you have Justin Fields getting 1,000 yards, and you're letting Khalil Herbert get a good portion of those yards, it's gonna be hard. Having 600 or whatever yards he has now, is it 700 or 600, almost
Who are
700?
we talking about?
Montgomery. So it's not so bad that he has that many yards. As you're lucky, he doesn't have less than that compared to the amount of carries he's had this season. Yeah, he has almost 700 yards.
690.
He still has 5 touchdowns for crying out loud.
Well, he also has receiving touchdowns too.
You know.
Because remember, he does catch the ball.
Yeah. So
Maybe I'm you know.
I mean,
We're not
overall,
going to keep him and have Saquon Barkley at the same time. I just don't see that happening.
it's not going to happen. They'll probably let him go if they can get
Yeah.
Barkley, and they'll probably keep Khalil Herbert as a power
Yeah,
back.
I think
there.
that's what's going to end up
And
happening.
they'll have a two-headed. We'll still have a three-headed monster because you'll still have, if that happens. The Bears do have the most money to get him. New York, they can't offer what the Bears can offer if the Bears decide to go that route.
Yeah.
But the Bears, I think, are okay with the running game. I mean, if you get Barkley, that's fine, but they got a lot of other pieces. We got to get another receiver. We got to get that offensive line fixed
Right.
up. Okay,
Right.
and we got to fix up that goddamn defense. We got to get some pass rushers on defense. We got to get some linebackers. You got to get these positions fixed up.
Look at this.
That's why they got the
Look
draft.
at this lineup here for our receiving squad. Like, who would you keep out of our receiving squad? I mean, I know Komet is a tight end, but he does receive well. I'm
I
keeping
keep
Komet.
him. That's it.
What about St. Brown?
Komet's it. Everyone else can go.
Really?
I don't know if Mooney's under contract. I don't know what injury he had. Do you even bring him back?
In my opinion, I like Darnell Mooney, right?
He's
But
more
like
of
you've
a
been saying-
second string, third
Thank
string.
you.
Well, shoot, he can go
You
back. He can go back to that.
You beat me.
That's
to
why
it.
you have to get some top tier
Yeah.
receivers here.
So, like you said, he's a second or third.
On any other
you
team,
know,
it would be.
Yeah.
By the way,
Mm-hmm.
who was our top receiver the last couple of years, and what is he doing for his team he's playing at now? Because I sure haven't. I didn't see his name on there yesterday. Did he even do anything yesterday? Oh, you forgot. Of course, because everyone forgot that person's name. Marcus Robinson.
What about him?
He's with the Rams, right? And I haven't heard his name called at all. Is he hurt?
I think he's hurt right now.
Oh, again.
Yeah, he's hurt.
Well, again, that's exactly why the Bears did the right move in letting him go.
Yeah, he got hurt a couple of weeks ago, if I'm
You
not
know,
mistaken.
What I don't want is injured players getting overpaid, sitting on the bench doing nothing, and suits are not playing at all. I don't want
Where's Claypool? That's who I didn't see on.
because he
on
didn't
Sunday.
play. He's hurt.
Okay.
Claypool's hurt.
So I'm keeping Claypool, I'm keeping Cole Kmet, and I'm keeping St. Brown. As far as Velus Jones goes, he can go. Treston Ebner, we know he's going. Simba Webster, I don't know. These are some names that can easily be replaced by someone that has better hands, better experience. I think we should definitely invest in another high-profile wide receiver. Hopefully, we get one that can come out here and come help out Justin Fields. Yeah, it's great that he's rushing for 1,200 yards, but he really shouldn't have to. He's really running for his life, and that's
well,
how
he
he's
said
getting all these
he
yards.
said that he doesn't plan on having 1,000-yard rushing seasons every year.
Good.
You know, what I want him to have is 3,000 passing yard seasons and 25 to 30 touchdown passes.
Look what happened.
And
to
maybe run for maybe 500 or 600 yards.
Yeah. Look what happened to Michael Vick
Yeah.
doing all that running. People wanted to lay some hits on him, and they ended up laying some good hits on him, and he wasn't running like that no more. So I don't want to see that happen to Justin Fields.
Yeah, I don't either. So that's why you got to get some receivers. You need more than one.
Yeah.
You're going to have to get a couple. Now, they can get this in the draft. You know, if they want to go in the draft and get some receivers in the draft. There's always receivers in the draft. You know, if there's any top tier free agents, we can go get them. But they got to fix that up. You got to get this man some weapons. One, you got to get him a good offensive line that will hold, and then you got to get some goddamn receivers who can catch and some top-notch receivers that can break away speed. I want him to have a good offense, a top 5 offense in the league. So when we play the Packers next year, we can sit there and put up 35 points.
Man.
Aaron Rodgers, can you do it? Let's see you do it now since we can do it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's what I want to see.
We're going to talk about the Packers, right? We're going to talk about the Packers in a minute.
But that's what I want to see with the Bears. So with that being said, I think we spent how much time we spent on the Bears already?
It's all right. I mean, this is the hometown Bears.
Exactly.
I have no problem talking about the Bears for 20 minutes. No problem.
Okay.
So they are going to be seeing the Bills.
Yeah.
The Bills are going to come in, and I'm already expecting an ass whooping. We're going to get, I don't care if it's snowing or not. Like you said, that's their element. So I don't see it being a problem. I think they're going to whoop us. I'm still going to watch the game, of course, because I love football.
Just get ready for Christmas. I'm going to be watching football.
I'm going to be at home. I'm going to be unwrapping gifts with my kids, and I'm going to be chilling at home.
Gifts. They're playing on Christmas Eve.
Yeah. We'll be all right. I'm going to be watching games. But either way, I'm still not happy watching the Bears lose. I'm a fan, and a fan is not supposed to be sitting there expecting their team to lose every single week. I don't care if they're trying to get picks or not, but I still watch them just to see the progression of Mr. Justin Fields and seeing who's stepping up as receivers. I'm a big Cole Kmet fan. I really like him. I think, he could be in line to be one of the next great tight ends if we concentrate on getting the ball to him. Man's got good hands. Yeah, he's dropped some balls early when he first started, but he's a very trustworthy guy to put the ball into his hands. So either way, I got the Bills winning at least by 14.
Oh wow! Reports of YouTube TV near Sunday ticket deal. So DirecTV's going to get rid of it and lose their deal with Sunday ticket.
What a surprise, right?
Yeah.
What a surprise.
Well, it is what it is. The Bears are where they are, and that's where it's going to be.
Yeah.
I got number 2 pick.
Yeah.
Now, there's some other games that took place, of course. One game
we got to talk about Indianapolis.
Yeah, but we didn't talk about because when we made our show on, was that Wednesday or last Thursday? So we didn't talk about the 49ers and Seahawks, right?
We did. Yeah.
All right.
It was
so let's talk about the Colts and the Vikings. Yes. Now, this game, I watched this game. And this game, let's speed it up to around the third quarter. It was 33-0, I think it was, right? They were 33-0.
I think it was 33-3.
No, it was 33-0.
Oh, it was, yeah.
And
so after that time,
believe it or not, you think that you're up 33-0, that you're pretty comfortable. You should win this game if you just run the ball and kill the clock, which is what you should have done. Don't throw the ball no more, just run it, kill the clock, kill the clock, kill the clock. Well, the Colts decided not to do that and relied on Matt Ryan's second half fumbles, stumbles.
Ryan, it's time for you to retire, sir.
And this was another repeat. If anybody remembers a few years ago when Matt Ryan was with the Atlanta Falcons and he went to the Super Bowl to play the
Tom Brady ended
the
this
New
man's
England,
whole
the New England
psyche,
Patriots,
bro.
and they had like a 33 or 30 something to 3 lead or something in the second half, and then Tom Brady just lit his ass up.
Yeah.
Well, the same thing happened here. The Vikings lit their asses up. They end up going 39. They went on a 39-3 run in the second half. And we're talking midway through the third quarter all the way to the fourth quarter. When the Colts, all you had to do was just run the ball and kill the clock.
Yeah.
You weren't doing that. You were throwing passes and dropping them, going out of bounds.
Leaving it up to Matt Ryan to try and do a quarterback sneak and getting rocked. There are some decisions that they still could have won the game and the end.
Mm-hmm.
But Jeff Saturday made some ballsy decisions. Like, let's say, for instance, they were up Not for instance, they were up by 8 points at that point. It was like, I don't know, 3 minutes left on the clock, fourth quarter. They're at the 35-yard line.
Should have kicked the field goal.
Exactly.
They made it a 2-point.
So that's all they had to do was kick a field goal.
He wanted to go for the fourth.
And they decided to go for it. And when they went for it, they gave it to Matt Ryan to try and do a quarterback sneak. Nope. He got stuffed because he's old and slow now. I mean, I like Matt Ryan.
It's not that. It's a stupid play. If you would have
if Lamar Jackson was out there, he would have got that damn first down. But see, if Josh Allen was out there, he would have got that first down. But if Herbert was out there, he would have got that first down.
If he would have just kicked the field goal,
Agreed.
And then you're up by 11.
Yep.
They have to score twice. Even with the 2-point conversion, they still got to score a field goal. You still got to get the ball back.
So when that happened, they
didn't get the ball back.
When that happened, that told me.
It went to overtime, didn't it?
That told me that it went to overtime. When that happened, that told me that he either did not trust his kicker, or analytics. That the NFL is now following all these coaches and assistants.
Just look at
all analytics.
They were outscored 14-3 in the third quarter and 22-0 in the fourth quarter.
Yes, I know.
They scored nothing in the fourth quarter.
I watched this game and it was just like
3 second half points.
It was so cringe to watch.
It's kind of funny because the Vikings got shut out in the first half, and basically the Colts got shut out in the second half. But the Vikings scored more points than you did.
It was very cringe to watch, especially when he gave the ball that one pass. They were up 8. Very first play, he tosses the ball 3 yards over to Cook.
Jeez,
and Cook takes off for 64 yards.
Kirk Cousins. He had to throw for 460 yards because he was down 33-0.
Yes, man.
And he threw 54 goddamn times. Threw for 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
No, he did the business. He had that look.
And all that stuff is from the second half too.
He did the business. He did the business.
That was embarrassing. And this not only is this embarrassing loss, but you have the dubious honor of being the team in NFL history to give up the biggest lead in NFL history.
So what does that tell you? What do you feel about Jeff Saturday on that?
He's a rookie coach, and he made stupid decisions, and that's expected.
He's made stupid decisions
for
a couple of weeks now.
Well, he's a new coach. He's never coached before.
Do you think he's keeping his job after the season?
Yeah, I do think he will because he's a legend for the Colts. That's why he's a Colts legend. He helped Peyton Manning win those Super Bowls. So no, he's fine. He just got him. He's not going anywhere. The owner
so they just got him, and this guy turned into having the biggest comeback in NFL history.
Yeah, that's not one reason to get fired. Now, if this was happening week in and week out, and you had the whole season to prepare,
you were up 33 to nothing.
But hold on. It's a loss. It's a 1-game loss. Yeah, it is a dubious honor to have that stat, but it's just 1 game. You cannot count this 1 game out of the what? How many of has he coached now? Like 3 or 4, maybe. Couple.
He won his first and lost his last 2.
He has not had he didn't even begin the season. Okay. So you're telling a coach to come in the middle of the season who he has not coached these players. He doesn't know his coaching staff. So you haven't coached at all. So you have to give it the next year to get it together. I think if they were going to hire him, they should have waited till the end of the year to hire him. That's why in NFL, it's not always a good thing to fire the coach in the middle of the season in the NFL because you plan all year long in the preseason and the offseason to get your team together and the playbooks and all that shit to get it together. And you fire the coach in the middle of the season to pick up someone else.
I see.
But most of the time when they fire a coach, though, think about it. When a team fires a coach in the NFL, they don't replace it from someone off the street. They replace him with an offensive coordinator or someone inside the team already, one of the coaches in there that take over the team. You don't get someone off the street like Jeff Saturday, come and coach a team. What the hell does he know about the team?
Well, he's on First Take every morning.
Not anymore, he's not.
And giving his advice of what he would have done and what they should have done here. And
he's just an analyst. And most of those just talk shit like we talking shit. So when you get him on the field, what happens? It's a different story. So, Saturday is understanding that too. He's a former player, granted, yes, but you're still a rookie coach.
I'm sure the man has a deeper understanding for football.
He does, but what I'm saying is, and what I'm trying to say is, he's a rookie coach. He's going to make mistakes. So this was a mistake. He should have kicked the field goal. He knew better. He probably should have. He probably won't make that mistake again when he's in the same situation again. So he'll be fine. They're not going to get rid of him. They do know, however, where are they? 4-9 now. This might be one of the teams that may call up the Bears and say, "Oh, can we have your number 2 pick so we can get a quarterback, and we'll give you our several picks for that number 2 pick?" Because they're not that.
So we're gonna
far
get
behind the
more
Bears.
Colts people because like
No.
our coaching staff is
not Colts people. They're picks.
Okay.
They're draft picks.
Okay, I got you.
Because again, this is going to be a desperate team. They know he's finished. They know Matt Ryan's done. We see it. So why would you keep him around?
Dead,
You have a bad record. You can actually draft up and make a deal to the Bears, but the Bears are going to be asking you for something. It's not going to be cheap. This ain't the old Bears. Like I'm saying, if we're going to give up something, you have to give up something.
Yeah.
You want that number 2 pick, and you want your franchise quarterback. We need a player too. We want your number 1 pick, and we want your number 2 pick, and maybe even more than that. This is a valuable pick, so you got to pay for this pick.
Yeah.
And so they're just one of the teams that are going to be in the running for it. But overall, Minnesota played like dog shit that first half. I mean, did you see that? Cousins was throwing picks. Jefferson wasn't catching anything. They couldn't run the ball. They were shut out. They were making mistakes. They were primed to lose this game. They should have lost this game.
Have.
You know,
They should have.
you put a 36 or 33-0 lead if they're playing the Colts, the Chiefs, or the Bills, or the 49ers.
Right.
I guarantee they ain't putting on 39 points in the second half against any of those teams.
I'm sure they won't.
And this is exactly what I'm trying to say about the Vikings. The Vikings are they're smoke and mirrors team. Okay? They have a decent team in a shitty division. Okay? And you can already see they're not going anywhere in the playoffs. I clearly have them probably getting knocked out in the first round, especially if they play a team like San Francisco or any team can upset them. One of those teams in the East can upset them.
Yeah.
If they play like the Giants or if they, maybe not the Cowboys. That would be interesting because I got Minnesota with the same category as the Cowboys. These teams, when they get in the playoffs, they're always guaranteed to fail in the playoffs. They'll never get to a Super Bowl. Never. Not in our lifetime. I don't see them. They have the choking mentality to choke in the playoffs. So they're not going to get they're not going to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So believe me, they will not be the final 2 teams in the NFC. They're going to be eliminated way before the NFC Championship game.
Well, I understand everything you just said about the Vikings and all. But at the end of the day, yes, they did play like dog shit in the first half. But they stepped it up in the second half and said, no way are we getting beat by the Colts. They're 4-9 and have a rookie coach that just came off of first take. You know what? Dalvin Cook, I need you to step up and rush. Do your thing. He did. Dalvin Cook, I need you to catch some of these balls. The man had 4 receptions for 95 yards and a touchdown. Ran for 64 for a long one. Remember, that one was in the very end of the game. That was super clutch.
You know who glad they're not going to play again?
You know, Kirk Cousins came through with 460 passing yards. Yes, he had the 2 NOs, but he had 4 touchdown passes. Yo, he did the business to win this game. And in the end of the day, with the stupid decisions that the Colts made, as much as I wanted to see Jeff Saturday win, because I actually do like Jeff Saturday, as much as I wanted to see the Colts get this upset victory, because I don't like the Vikings, they deserve to win the game because they played it right, they hustled, and they just didn't fuck up.
Well, they did deserve to lose the game because they fucked up when they should have just kicked the field goal. They probably would have won the game if they kicked the field goal. That's a loss on them. Jeff Saturday will be a decent coach. You got to give him another year.
We'll see what happens. If he stays, I'll be watching.
But you know who they're glad that the Vikings don't play again this year?
Who's that?
At least they hope they don't play them.
Who's that?
They better hope to God that Detroit doesn't sneak into the playoffs because they don't want to play them.
Okay, let's go to them real quick because I want to talk about them.
They beat the Jets. Jets. Jets.
Yes. So
they're 8-7, right?
I'm getting different vibes.
7-7.
I'm getting different vibes from this Detroit Lions team than I have from the past ones. Because why? Normally, around this time in December, the Lions are losing. December 1st,
Well, it's not just this time this year. It's usually every year.
No, they know
all year.
Remember when they had Stafford, they'd win a few games at the beginning, go 5-0 or 5-1, and then from that point on, they'd lose all the rest of their games. But they've actually turned some switch on, and they've been winning and they've been producing. Jared Goff, I guess he's got
6-1.
He's got
6-1 in the last 7 games.
He's got his team believing in him, and they're actually working for him.
They were 1-6 when they played the Bears.
Yep.
They are now 7-7.
They turned on that switch, and now they're at 500, and they have a chance to get up in the
This was
damn
the
playoffs.
last time they were 500 this time, this late in the year.
Goff did the business, you know.
I don't even think your kids were born the last time they were 500 this late in the year.
Right. I mean, again, the Jets did have Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's not that great. Yes, he posted some good numbers. He had 317 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception.
Right?
Yeah, but Wilson wasn't playing. It was White.
That's what it was.
And he's hurt, so now that's why Zach Wilson got back in, which I expected him to lose anyway, because I think the Lions have a much more potent offense, even though they only put up 20 against the Jets. The Jets are nothing to sneeze at either, because I know they got that hard that defense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they grind, and I appreciate them. All they're missing is a true quarterback.
And they might be another team that might try to make a deal with the Bears.
You're right.
These teams that need a quarterback are going to probably be calling the Bears.
Yes.
Can we get that number 2 pick?
So once they get that right quarterback, and the team and the receiving core they have right now, and the rushing core they got right now, if they change that quarterback next year and they got the right pick, I see the Jets being a problem out there. I see them being a problem.
Well,
but congrats to the Lions. I give the Lions props because, look, I'm getting different vibes. Normally they're losing at the end of the year, and somehow they're playing at a high rate. And I think that Goff is going to lead them to a playoff run.
Okay.
You know, wild card.
There's 3 other games I definitely want to talk about.
All right.
First one is what the hell happened to your Cowboys? They got blown the hell out. Blown out. They lost in overtime. I'm sorry, it wasn't blowout. They got beat 40-34 by the Jaguars.
So there were mistakes that were made in this game, and those mistakes were by Mr. Dak Prescott.
Hey, he had 256 yards and 3 touchdown passes.
Interceptions were crucial. They were crucial. I mean, those interceptions came at the worst times, and that's what they're saying is right now, most of the games that the Cowboys are losing, Dak Prescott is at the center of them because he's thrown 10 interceptions since he's come back from injury.
Reminds you of someone else?
You know,
who's thrown 10 interceptions already this year? Yeah, we'll talk about him in a moment.
Oh, boy. Yes, we will. I already know who you're talking about. But Mr. Prescott, he was playing, you know, he was 23 for 30, 256 yards, 3 touchdowns, but those interceptions cost him.
He's been struggling since he's come back, huh?
10 interceptions.
Since he's come back.
Since he's come back. So he's been costing them games.
He's another one. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying Dak Prescott ain't a decent quarterback. He is. Is he a great quarterback? Absolutely not. Is he I'd say a top 3, a top 4 quarterback? No.
Top 10?
You could probably put him in the top 10 because you got to fill the slots.
Thank you.
But top 3, top 4, maybe even a top 5? No, he's not. He is another one that you can just expect. And I don't care what Stephen A. Smith says and all that. I don't care about him and his clownish ass where he be acting stupid with the Cowboys. I mean, give me a break.
You don't like the Cowboys, just like he
I don't like the Cowboys, but he's ridiculous with it.
Well, he's doing it to troll.
Yeah, he's doing that because he's a Giants fan and all that. Like whatever. You don't sit there and hear me doing that with Aaron Rodgers, do you? Look, the bottom line is Dak Prescott. And I'm not a Cowboys fan or a Giants fan. I'm not a fan of none of those teams in the East. But he is just one of those quarterbacks that you can almost guarantee when he gets in the playoffs, he's going to be mediocre. He's not going to do anything, and the Cowboys are going to choke. And he's done that every year that he's been to the playoffs, okay, when he's played. He does not do well in the playoffs. And that's the bottom line. That's why the Cowboys have not been to the Super Bowl in damn near 30 years.
Because of Dak Prescott?
It's not because of Dak Prescott.
I'm sure
it's because of the way the quarterbacks that they pick. I'm not saying they're not bad quarterbacks. He's not Super Bowl type of quarterbacks. Prescott's not a Super Bowl type of quarterback. I'm sorry, he's not. Neither was Tony Romo. And
Tony Romo had an arm, and he was
the last quarterback that actually got them decent wins in the playoffs was Troy Aikman. And they have not found a quarterback who can match what he did for them in the playoffs consistently every year. He got them in the playoffs every year. They've won many games in the playoffs. He got them a couple of Super Bowl wins. 3 Super Bowls? He got them? Got them many NFC Championship games? I'm sorry. Dak Prescott's not that type of quarterback. He may throw 300 yards here, 300 yards there, 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns in regular season play. But then down the stretch, he's going to have these stinking games, stinkers, and a lot of times the stinkers are always in the playoffs. And so I already told you, unless they play each other in the playoffs where one actually has to win, the Cowboys and the Vikings will be eliminated if they don't play each other first. They will be eliminated, probably in the first round. Period. I'm sorry, they just will be. And we won't even talk about them again.
Okay. We will see.
And then next season, this wonderful NFC East division that's probably gonna get all 4 teams in there in the playoffs this year, that will not repeat itself next year.
Let me assist you with the playoff picture now.
Mm-hmm.
So the Cowboys would actually play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're telling me the Buccaneers would beat the Cowboys right now?
They would.
Wow.
I think they would.
I'm putting this thing back.
Because one,
you just sat there and just shitted all over the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And you just said that they wouldn't even make it out the first round.
They're not.
And now they're going to play the Buccaneers.
If they play the Buccaneers are going to go out to Cowboy, to Jerry's World, and they're going to win. And then what's this other one? The 49ers and the Giants? The 49ers will win. Vikings and Commanders? I would not be surprised if Washington wins that game. Because
Washington's a sneaky team this year, man.
Exactly. So I would not be surprised if that happens.
They're sneaky this year.
Okay? I wouldn't be surprised. And then it reshuffles in the second round.
Yep.
But yeah, that's one game I wanted to mention. The Cowboys lost.
Let me finish up on this because we just talked a whole bunch of shit about the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott.
Oh, Trevor Lawrence.
I'm gonna give my respect and my big ups to Trevor Lawrence. I'm happy to see success for this man because of the coach that they had the previous year that made him look like shit, like the play calls, and you can definitely tell Lawrence was not comfortable playing out there. Right now, he's got a smile on his face. It's a genuine smile, not one for a commercial, for his hair or anything like that. He looks like he's having fun playing, and the team is responding to him. I mean, seriously, the Jaguars out of nowhere are 6-8. They beat the damn Cowboys. The Cowboys are not that bad. I mean, they're 10-4. They're one of the top teams in the NFL right now.
What were they last year, the year before? Or they have a similar record?
Yeah. But every year is a different year.
Yeah.
Now,
for them.
So I gave
same year.
So I want to give them their credit. I want to give the
Jaguars had a great game. What do you have? 318 and 4 touchdown passes, 1 interception, 109 rating. Oh yeah, he's the future for sure.
He is.
Now it's just a matter of what Jacksonville puts around him.
So it just goes to show you, just like the Chicago Bears, what a good coaching could do for a young quarterback. Because look what Trevor Lawrence was at last year, and look where Justin Fields was at last year, and look at this year.
Well, I think overall the team has played better under this coach, but I just think they had some tech.
They're fucking tanking. That's what they're doing. That's why we're losing
now
in some unfortunate.
The second game I wanted to talk about was the Bengals and the Buccaneers. You don't want to talk about that much, do you? You don't want to talk about that?
I will talk about it.
Joe Burrow didn't have a very good game.
I'll let you do your thing first.
He only threw for 200 yards, but he threw for 4 touchdown passes against the Bucs. They won 34-23 against the Bucs. The Buccaneers are 6-8, and believe it or not, that shitty 6-8 record is going to get them in the playoffs and win the division.
The division sucks.
Okay, and that is horrible. And this is a Tom Brady team. Isn't this a little bit mediocre for him to be? Yeah, his team is in first place, by default because the division is so crappy. Everyone is under 500 in that division.
Yes.
But don't you think this is horrible for him
Yes.
to be on a team that's under 500? That's embarrassing, don't you think?
Are you gonna let me go right now?
Um,
I'm gonna let you finish doing your thing.
I just want to put his. I want to see what his numbers were. So he threw for 312 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Not bad, but you still lost.
You didn't see the game, did you?
Tom Brady, you're supposed to put up. No, against the Bengals, we need one of those 5 touchdown passes, one of those 400-yard passing games there. You know what, like we saw in New England. He just doesn't seem like he's playing the same anymore.
No, he's not. So here's my thing on here's my take on this game, right? As I watched it, you know, I love me some Tom Brady.
Of course you do.
And the first half of the game, he was looking like Tom Brady of old, you know. Touchdown passes, long passes, guys were catching the ball, everything was working great.
Mm-hmm.
They ended up the first half winning, leading 17-3. I was like, oh man, you know, Tom Brady's looking good. Next thing I know, third quarter comes around, and man, it just became the Bengals show. You've got Tom Brady throwing interceptions. It was astounding to see him make those mistakes.
And those were his fault.
Yes, they were. It was directly, and that's why he didn't say shit. He accepted it. He fumbled the ball. He got hit. They hit the ball from under his arm.
Was
came
that,
out.
You know, if I was one of his linemen or running backs,
your
I would
job.
say like, do your job, like
Yeah.
you said to everyone else.
Yeah, I knew
Do
you were
your
gonna-
job.
I knew you were gonna say that, but I'm gonna tell you, like I've been saying this entire season, their Achilles heel is not Tom Brady, because yeah, he's a little old and then this and that, but the man is still throwing for 300 yards, 3 touchdown passes in this fast NFL.
You know, he's not doing his
There-
job. Leonard Fournette.
Thank you. Achilles heel is the Tampa Bay rushing.
The worst in the league.
The entire damn team, week after week after week,
What did they
cannot
rush?
break for
Well,
100
they
yards.
rushed for 92 yards, but no
That ain't
scores.
shit. 92 yards. Leonard Fournette should be running for 92 yards by himself.
Yeah, I should.
Okay. Rashad White. That
How did this
just came
happen?
in.
How did this happen?
I don't know. I don't understand
They
how
weren't
it's
the,
happening.
They weren't the worst rushing team last year.
But
They didn't
somehow
play,
Fournette forgot how to run, and I was expecting big things out of Rashad White because I actually picked him up on my fantasy team, and he looks like he's timid too, or is it just their rushing schemes just suck?
They just have shitty wide receivers. They can't run the
No,
ball.
their wide receivers are shitty.
no,
Look at that squad, Frank. Godwin caught for 83 yards.
No. I
and
mean
a
the
touchdown.
rushing. I meant to say
Oh,
rushing.
okay.
The rushing core is crap.
Yeah, they suck.
And that's got to change because
suck.
again, you could still be the best scoring team in the league and have the most receiving yards, but you got to be able to rush the ball at times. If you don't rush the ball, you're not going to win games because you got to be able to run the ball efficiently to stop teams and preserve your defense when it comes times when your defense is on the field a lot of times and all you do is throw the ball. You know, I don't mind you scoring touchdowns and throwing passing touchdowns, but I don't like to have 2-minute drives.
Yeah.
You want to have 7-minute drives. You want to have 5-minute long drives. And how do you have long drives? You rush, you run the ball.
Yeah.
And they're not doing that. They're horrible. They're the worst in the league.
Look at Cincinnati's rushing. Their whole squad only rushed for 53 yards. Everything was done through the air. All the damage was air. Jamar Chase.
Well, how is this possible when you had Tampa Bay receive for 312 yards and Cincinnati rush for less, receive for less by 112 yards? They had less rushing yards than Tampa Bay, yet they still lose.
All these
And they still lose by
passing
11.
touchdowns. Interception near the goal line. Interception 30 yards away. They turned them all into touchdowns.
And Tom Brady said fumbled the ball.
And he fumbled. Turned that into a touchdown.
So he has 3 turnovers himself. He was responsible for.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
now Minnesota's 6-8. However, as bad as Tampa Bay is 6-8. Now, as bad as Tampa Bay is, they're going to probably default themselves into the playoffs. And like you said, if they play Minnesota, that's actually a game I actually do have Tom Brady winning.
Wow, against Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm. I do. But then he's going to get completely mauled in the second round by probably Philly.
Jesus Christ.
You don't think so?
I mean, Philly's gonna eat whoever they see up right now. The way
Yeah,
I
I
see
see.
them, they are
But
the best team.
now Cincinnati, this is the team you need to watch out for.
Okay.
This is the team, and I think I mentioned this the last couple of weeks. Buffalo and Kansas City do not want to see Cincinnati in the playoffs. They are hoping, they're praying that Cincinnati plays one of the other ones or someone eliminates them before they play them. Because Cincinnati has both those teams' numbers.
Yep. The Bengals are 10-4.
Regular season and playoffs. And it doesn't matter if you're playing on the road against them. Because they'll beat you on the road too. So, hey, and they're getting hot right at the right time too.
Yep.
Like last year,
Yep.
they're dangerous. They're probably hunting for. They're looking red. They have red in their eyes. Like
Yep.
we blew
We
that.
smell blood.
We blew that we blew that Super Bowl last year. We want to win. We want another one.
Yep.
However, I do think that they might get beat before they get to play the Bills and maybe the Chiefs. I do believe the Chiefs, the Cincinnati is prone to probably get upset by some other team in the AFC, like a Tennessee or someone like that might beat them in the playoffs, and then they'll end up being KC and Bills in the playoffs to win or to go to the Super Bowl. And of course, I think this time Buffalo, they have KC's number, I believe, or do they? I think they finally beat them actually. But I think they'll beat them this time in the playoffs.
Okay.
I just don't see Kansas City that strong like they were last year.
I do.
I think I just see there's some teams that are stronger than them.
How are you not seeing Kansas City being strong? They got Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, I didn't say they're not a dominating team. I said they're not as strong in the AFC as you think they are.
Really?
I think Buffalo and Cincinnati are better teams. And I think
I'll give you Buffalo, but I
and
find it hard to believe that you feel like
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati's
They
better.
beat them how many times in a row, including the playoffs? That is their kryptonite. KC does not want to see Cincinnati. Look at the last time. Even this year they played and they lost.
Yeah.
They lost in the playoffs last
Burrow.
year. They lost in the regular season last year to them. Mahomes cannot beat.
Yeah, he's
Burrow
beat
in
Mahomes
Cincinnati.
every single time he's seen him. Yeah, you're
I
right.
don't think Mahomes has a worse record against anybody. I think his worst record is against Cincinnati.
Burrow.
Yeah, he just can't beat them. And so, believe me, if you're Casey, like, I don't want to play them. Would you? I go, no, could someone please take them out? I don't want to go there and play them. No, they just don't. So, they took care of business against Houston, even though Houston gave them a go. They had that game for the most part up until the fourth quarter or overtime, right?
Yeah,
took
they
it
went to
overtime.
OT.
And poor Houston. They come so close to winning the game. They they only got one win and a tie. I mean, you think the Bears are bad? My goodness, this is why they're going to get the number one pick in the draft.
Yeah.
But that's not going to help them. They ain't going to help them, unfortunately.
So,
The last game I want to talk about.
uh,
You have any more comments on this one?
no, I'm saying though, I'm looking at this squad here, man. Like
Mhm.
receiving wise, you got Travis Kelce
I know you got all these
again with
players.
10 receptions with 105. You got Juju,
But
88 yards.
but guess who
McKinnon,
they
70.
don't have this year?
Scantling.
But who do they don't have though?
It doesn't matter. They
You
still
know what I'm talking
they
about.
still have 11
Say the name.
wins.
Say the name.
They still have 11
Say
wins.
the name.
They don't need Tyreek Hill.
They do need Tyreek.
They're
Hill.
11-3. Does this look like they need?
They're going to need
Tyreek
Tyreek Hill in the playoffs, especially if they play
You
a
got
Cincinnati or if they play a Buffalo.
Juju, McKinnon, Valdez Scantling. I mean, they got them a squad.
Yeah, but that squad can't beat Cincinnati.
I think that just tells you just how good the Mahomes is. That even losing his star wide receiver, he didn't just fall apart. He still
Oh no, he
made
wasn't going
do.
to fall apart.
He still made
I
do
just
with what
don't
he
think.
got.
I just
And
don't.
He's making them all look
They've been
good.
making double-digit wins every year, but I just think this is the weakest that they've been
Okay,
the last couple of years.
fair enough.
And I think the teams have actually got better than them the last couple of years. Cincinnati and Buffalo have gotten better, Mike. Let's just be honest, they've gotten better. Kansas City did their best to rebuild, and they've done a good job. I'm not saying they haven't.
They did.
I just feel that Buffalo and Cincinnati have done better jobs. And if they play them in the playoffs, Cincinnati's built to beat those teams in the playoffs. Okay? KC's trying, but they're not built to beat Cincinnati in the playoffs. The
I got
last,
one last game I want to talk about, man, and I hope it's the Raiders Patriots game,
I did not even see that game, so I don't know what Mac and Cheese did.
bro.
So I'll let you talk about it.
Bro, this game was one of the worst and dumbest plays I have ever seen.
What was
At
this?
the end of the game, the Patriots, they had a chance at the end. All they had to do, literally, run the ball, kneel down, go into overtime. No, they decided to go for the little trick lateral play.
Mm-hmm.
So these guys are running. Lateral play is happening. Far right end of the field. My man's about to get tackled. He tosses it behind him. If I remember the players' names, I would be spewing them out right now, but unfortunately I don't. But the recipient of that ball turns around and decides to throw it across the field behind him. But he underthrows it. He underthrows it.
Yeah.
And it falls right in the hands of a Las Vegas Raiders hands, which at the very end of the game, with no time left, intercepted the ball and ran it back and won the damn game.
I didn't see that.
It was the worst and dumbest play. I don't understand how you didn't see that, man. That was everywhere as the dumbest play
I didn't watch the highlights.
in football. Like, it was bad. Even the commentator, because I was watching that, even the commentator was like, man, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But Mac Jones, he has regressed. I think Mac Jones will be out of New England next year.
Boy, weren't you just sweating him last year?
He has
Mac and cheese.
regressed. He has regressed. My man threw for 112 yards, bro. 31 attempts, only 13
Yeah, but they
of
rushed for 206 yards.
sucks. You got 31 attempts, man. You got 112 yards,
But
no
I'm
touchdowns.
sure Tampa Bay would love to have
No
a number
nothing.
like this for their rushing yards.
Yeah, but their passing game ain't looking like this though. They look bad. Derek Carr once again. Like, this is another game that the Raiders could have lost.
Devontae Adams
Once
didn't have a
again,
good game either.
no, the Raiders again could have lost this game, and somehow they squeaked it out and got the win. That was this.
Yeah, it was. That's ridiculous.
I mean,
Yeah. Well, things happen. But the Raiders.
that's dumb as hell. Look at that. He threw it right away. And this guy just got ran over. How embarrassing was that? Like, he just turned around and just deboed this guy. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I was not happy about that, but
Well, the
It
Raiders
is what
are
it is.
6-8. They're not going to make the playoffs.
no,
obviously.
they're lucky
But
to
the
get that.
Patriots aren't making the playoffs either.
They were lucky to get that win.
So, I mean, Tom Brady ain't walking through them doors.
He's not.
So
And even if he wanted to, I don't think Bill Belichick wants him.
I think he would want him. Like,
He-
shit, I need to get a quarterback.
He can't control Brady like that. Brady's not going to be listening to him. He can't talk to a Brady like that. And that's why he didn't want
I
him to
coached him for
begin with.
20 years. I'm sure, you know.
It's like, bro, I'm a grown-ass man.
The last game I want to talk about, I
Yeah.
guess, is your Packers and the Rams.
Yee.
The Packers beat the Rams on Monday Night Football 24-12 to improve to still their mediocre record of 6-8. And it's still 2 games under 500.
Mediocre record.
It is mediocre.
It is.
Aaron
For
Rodgers,
and the Packers, yes, it
threw
is.
another interception yesterday, and the reason why I mentioned that is because he's now thrown for 10 interceptions. They said this is the most interceptions he's had, I think, in his whole career.
In 10 years. In the
10
past
years.
decade, he has not thrown for that many interceptions. That's crazy. That's how accurate this man was.
But also, we all called this too. I said his interceptions are going to go up this
Yeah,
season.
and it did dramatically. And he's gonna throw a few more. I think he's gonna throw like 4 more by the end of the year. 4 more, I'm calling it.
Forcibly.
Mistakes are gonna happen. Balls are gonna bounce off these guys' hands, and I mean, a lot of those interceptions, it wasn't his fault. He had one game, he threw like 3 interceptions that were.
Oh
his
no,
fault.
that interception he threw last week was his fault.
Yeah,
he
that
threw it
definitely
right
was.
to the guy.
Yeah.
He threw it right to him. He threw like basically throw it right to me.
He
I mean-
definitely was.
I mean, that was his fault. You couldn't sit there and bitch and moan his bitchy moan face and complain about it. Something that's your fault. You know, yeah, what did he throw for? 229 yards, 1 touchdown, one pick. It was more or less their running game.
He got sacked for
You had A.J. Dillon who rushed for 36 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns. But I believe he might have got hurt in that game, didn't he?
I'm not sure. I don't
Your
think
boy Dobbs played again, finally for the first time in a while. He has no one, he had no 100-yard rusher or receiving receiver either. Where's this guy Watson supposed to be his number one go-to guy?
Is his number one go-to guy.
He only got 46 yards.
Hey,
where's Cobb? I saw a couple of Cobb sightings yesterday. Old man out there got 3 receptions for 32 yards.
Yeah, it's like he's back.
Yeah, you're back at 32 yards. 3 receivers.
It's so funny that you talk about him now, but you were sticking up so much up for him before. So I was a little disappointed by Baker Mayfield on the other side because of his comeback win last week.
Yeah, the same numbers as Rodgers. 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
12 for 21, 111 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. It was a pretty shitty game. When I watched it, it was a pretty shitty game.
Well, the Rams are all dismantled.
Yeah, they are. 4-10. Pack it in.
What happens? Baker Mayfield is playing for a job next year for another team. Because obviously he's not going to be playing as a backup for the Rams over with Stafford. So he's obviously going to be going somewhere else.
Stafford, they were talking about Stafford might be retiring.
Well, if he does, that'd be interesting.
He's saying he doesn't want to, but
why would he? Well, he got his championship. Maybe he wants to leave. He probably is one of those quarterbacks like, I'm not going to play till I'm 40 or 35. I'm done.
Look at that pick. Look at that.
Boop. Oh yeah, that was right to him.
Yep.
You can't sit there and say that was the receiver's fault. That was Aaron Rodgers.
Well, it wasn't right to him. My man positioned himself and.
Aaron Rodgers. So look how he threw the ball, and he's always looking up like, oh, it's the other person's fault, not my fault. Or you always see them throwing their hands up. Like, no, why are you throwing your hands up? Throw your hands up at yourself. You threw that pick. But the Packers are also toast. Look at their record. Look at the playoff pictures. No, they don't. They have a chance, not mathematically every day. But look at this. They play. You know who they played the last game of the year? If I'm not mistaken?
The Lions.
They sure do.
Yeah.
And the Lions already took care of them. So would you say right now, as we're speaking today, I want to hear this out your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You have to say at this point, even record-wise shows it, the Lions are a better team right now than the Packers. Better record-wise.
I'm not gonna say anything like that.
Why not? The Packers are 6-8.
I don't believe so.
The Lions are 7-7.
I don't believe. So one game.
Folks, I'm calling it out now.
One game.
They think they played in the last game of the year, and the Lions are going to beat the Packers. Now, the Packers will probably be eliminated from playoff contention by then, but the Lions are playing for pride or probably playing for a playoff spot because they'll probably still be alive for at least that last playoff spot as long as you're over 500. And the Packers are finished.
So I hear you, but I'm looking at this list right here, and I'm gonna call out right now.
Why don't you look at the playoff standings?
I'm gonna call up right now that by the end of the season, the Packers are gonna be above the Detroit Lions.
I don't think that's possible. How many games have they each played?
How? It's only 1 game apart. There's 3 games left. How is that not possible? You're telling me the Lions can't lose the rest of their games and the Packers can't?
But momentum says that's not happening. Momentum says
see.
the Lions are on the momentum. They've won, 6 in a row?
We shall see.
Packers, they've won their last couple of games, but they've had a crappy
2
season.
wins, 3 wins. They had a 3-win streak. The Packers have a 2. We'll see what happens.
Where's that game at? Give me a moment.
That's going to be in Green Bay.
Is it in? You didn't even look.
It's going to be in Green Bay.
No, I think that is it in Green Bay? Hold on.
The only game that's not going to be in Green Bay is Miami. Trust me, man. I watched the Packers as much as I watched the Bears.
They played them in Detroit.
Yes.
Well, it won't matter. They'll beat them in Green Bay. So with that being said, we're done with the NFL. Is there anything you want to say about the Bulls? They won tonight, but to me, they have had some major issues. They're arguing at halftime against the Wolves. They're arguing at each other in the locker room. They're not getting along with each other. Yes, they beat Miami tonight, but what does that mean? You'll win 1 game, but you'll lose 4.
Yeah, which is not going to add up very well.
They are damn near almost in last place. They're 10 games out of first place. They're way out of. Indiana still has like a 3-game lead over them. It's like, what the hell is going on? Look at Cleveland. I mean, the Bulls should be up there competing with Milwaukee for that freaking spot in the division. They're not even in playoff contention right now, and they're fighting amongst each other.
Well, they're
This is
frustrated. You have a whole bunch of competitors out there. You got Vooch, you got DeRozan, and you got Levine. Now, things are not going well. Like you said, they win one game against a good team, and then they turn around and they lose 3 games against shitty teams that they should have won. And we're watching them, and we're getting frustrated too. These guys are not living up to their expectations.
No.
Especially Levine. I like Zach Levine, but man, you got to call it how it is. He's not living up to that contract. I'm not the one paying him. But when you decide that you want to get a contract, a max contract or whatever like that, you got to come out and deliver. And you can't be the top dog when you're not delivering, man. I mean, DeRozan's scoring more than you. He's doing more. At the end of the game, the ball's in DeRozan's hands because we trust the ball in his hands for that final shot over you. That's kind of sad. I mean, a few years ago, it was you taking those shots, and yeah, you were doinking a lot of those last second jumpers. You did hit a couple of them. I'm not gonna lie, but you missed the most of them. Where DeRozan is actually hitting most of his game-winning shots. So I mean, he's more efficient. You should be getting paid. He should be getting paid as much as you are.
There's 6 games under 500.
But it's clear that the two of you guys are not working together. You guys might be friends off the court, but they are not working well together on the court.
One of them or both of them have to go for superstar players. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree.
And either get rid of one or get rid of them both.
I feel like DeRozan has the age on him already, so I wouldn't get rid of him to keep Levine.
I get rid of Levine.
I'm gonna go with the youth.
I get rid of Levine.
DeRozan. I mean, I love DeMar DeRozan, but Levine has a little bit more explosiveness.
Yeah, but he's not clutch like DeRozan can be. DeRozan has a consistent mid jumper. Levine misses shots all the time. DeRozan will, he can score. He can put up 40 at any point. He has those mid range jumpers he can get by. So you could trade Levine and get a star player for him. But I just don't think that those two could play together. I think it's time to break them up, but don't get garbage for them. You get some top players for them.
I just don't understand what the hell happened between last year and now.
Well, I guess it's Lonzo Ball.
It can't be.
Which I don't understand that.
It can't be, and it's so true because look, when he got hurt last January, or is it December last December?
January. He's been
when he got hurt last January, we were like the top 3 teams.
We were number 1 actually at one point.
In
the East.
And then
we were number 1 in
as
the
soon
East
as he
at
got
one
hurt, all of a sudden we're losing 5 games in a row, 6 games in a row. And even this year we can't be consistent.
And by the way, they said he might be out for the year.
Yep.
Which I already called that already.
Yep.
So there's no surprise there.
So it's doubtful that he's coming back this year. Man, get rid of him. I'm sorry. We need another presence out there. I'm sorry. Derek Jones Jr. is not gonna do it. Javonte Green is not gonna do it. These are all like local names that we like here, but bro, we needed some real backup. Caruso, I am tired of harping on this every single week. Man, can you please be a little bit more aggressive on offense? We're losing games, and some games we're losing by like 5 points, 3 points, and then you're looking at the stat sheet. DeRozan 27, Levine 23, Vooch 19, Patrick Williams 7.
What bothers
Caruso 3.
But what bothers me, is the teams are losing.
Man,
listen to some of these teams. They lose to the Thunder. They lose to the Pelicans. They lose to the Pelicans twice.
Well, the Pelicans are pretty good, Frank.
Yeah, but the Bulls should be able to beat them. Period. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
The Pelicans are 4th in the West.
But you lose to the Thunder. You lose to the Magic. You lose to the Kings. You lose to New York Knicks twice at home, back to back.
That was a problem.
Back to back at home games.
That was a problem.
Not in New York, here. That right there, I was finished for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bulls are going to have to string together a shitload of wins. I'm talking winning 11 of 12 games, 15 of 17 games. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that to get them well over 500, get them back in playoff contention, and get one of those top 6 seeds. You know, because they're 6 games under 500. The All-Star game is, about a couple weeks after the Super Bowl. So we got approximately about just under 2 months before the All-Star break for the NBA. Do you think the Bulls will be at 500 or over 500 by that time? We're talking about maybe 7 weeks from now.
After some moves that desperately need
No,
to be
leave
made,
it the way it is.
The way it is, no.
Okay.
No. We're a crumbling ship. Like you just stated right now, we're winning one game and then losing the next 2 or 3, then win one more. This frustration is not going to end because they're going to lose 2, 3 more. Fingers are going to start pointing. They're a disgruntled team right now. I think someone needs to go. And if it's Zach LaVine,
people need to go. Plural.
Yeah, Patrick Williams definitely is on my list to go list. He's on the to go list. They can use him as trade bait. He's supposed to be this next great power forward.
What are they going to get for him?
Use him.
I mean, if you get something for him, fine. All I'm saying is don't give away your top stars. If you're going to give them away, don't give them away for nothing. You better get star players in return because you're not trying to rebuild. You're just trying to retool so you can still compete for this season.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. But with that being said, you want to wrap it up or want to get into anything else that you want to talk about in the NBA?
Oh, well, of course, I always talk about my Lakers also. Anthony Davis got hurt again.
No.
The other night.
God.
Someone stepped on his foot.
Oh, God. Someone's always stepped on his foot.
And as soon as he did that, next thing you know, he's sitting on the bench with, he's in the street clothes. He's going to be out at least a month.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So here goes LeBron out there once again by himself, trying to make things happen by himself. I don't know. This team is just doomed because of the fact that the health bug is an issue for Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis is too young to be.
He's running
much,
he plays 2-3 weeks hard. He's named Player of the Month, MVP numbers. I just saw this coming. Bro, if every single time you put up 30 points 3 or 4 times straight, you're going to end up being hurt and you need to sit down for a month.
Did they beat the Suns the other night?
It's about that time. No way.
They lost?
No way. I'm sure the Suns blew their ass out.
Okay, this is down 26. Okay. Well, I mean, when it comes to the Lakers, no sympathy there for me. Lakers are in last place. That's why you can't see
Yeah, there ain't nothing happening. So I'm surprised they have 13 wins because honestly, I thought they would have been under 10 wins still right now.
You have an aging team where the core players are old. You have injured. The core of your team is injured. Your core players are injured. They're in a similar situation like the Bulls.
Yeah.
Except their star players are not hurt like the Lakers. The Bulls are just not playing up to their expectations. The Lakers, even if they play up to their expectations, they're not that good.
They
just don't
are
have that,
though.
They are not.
They have the
do
length.
not.
They have the length. And that's what makes it hard for other teams. You have Anthony Davis waiting for you. You got LeBron James, who is not that's pretty lengthy and bulky himself.
You have an older player who's towards the end of his career. You have
averaging 30 points.
You have another player who's always hurt.
You
have another ball hog who misses shots and turns the ball over left and right and is way overpaid. And then that's where all your money is tied up at. Then you got a bunch of nobodies. Patrick Beverly, who's a dirty piece of shit.
He can go.
He's just sitting around just collecting a check.
I know you're from the Chi-Town, but he can go.
Just because you're local doesn't mean I like you. Doesn't mean that you're
I don't like the dirtiness. I don't like the dirtiness.
But he's getting everything he deserves. Now, all that trash talk he was talking to Minnesota last year in the playoffs and LA Clippers, now they're going to show his ass off and shit.
Yeah.
And make him look like a fool. Like, because you're on a last place team, you're even going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So you're not even going to see them. You're not even going to make the play in. But
another team that's hurting right now is your Golden State Warriors, because you do know that Steph Curry is going to be out for about a month.
They'll be okay. They'll stay afloat.
They've been losing,
Well, they probably will lose some games, but I already said already they're going to win enough games to get into the playoffs, but they're not going to go anywhere in the playoffs. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Right above the Lakers.
By how many games?
Two.
Game?
By 2 games.
Okay, we know where this is going.
No, it's not even 2 games. By 1 game. 5.5.
But we know where
One
this, we
game.
know where this is going though.
Okay.
We all know.
Mm-hmm.
We all know
Mm-hmm.
that when Curry does come back,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna get on a little streak. They're gonna win enough games to get into the playoffs. Now, whether that be in the play-in or one of the top 6 teams, I would have to say they're gonna probably leapfrog and get at least to the number 6 team. I'd say at least number 6. Okay, but again, they're not going to get to the finals. Okay.
Okay.
I already said this last year. After last year, I said this: they're not making it to the finals. Enjoy this championship. You deserved it. You earned it. You were the best team, I thought, from start to finish, and I knew you were they were gonna win the championship. And so, what do they call it? A foul?
Yeah.
Of course. So no foul on Levine, right?
No, it was a foul.
I thought it was an offensive foul on Levine. But I just feel that the Golden State will bounce back and get into the playoffs, but they won't make it back to the finals. I just don't think they will. I think it's probably going to go to Memphis, most likely. I think,
Yeah.
possibly, and they'll probably play someone in the East. Who knows who it's going to be? It's too hard to say in the NBA right now. It's too unpredictable because we're not even halfway through the season, but we kind of have an idea of who sucks and who doesn't. And unfortunately, right now the Bulls suck, and right now the way things are looking, they're not going to make the playoffs. And if they don't make the playoffs, then they got to make some big decisions in the offseason on what they're going to do. You just wait until the offseason to make trade moves is what I would probably do. Wait till the offseason, because who's a free agent?
Frank, it's a long season, man.
We'll see.
It's a long season.
they've already played.
We're in 11th
They already played
place.
30 games,
We're in
and they're
11th
6
place.
games under 500 after
We're
30
in 11th
games.
place. Yeah, we're not in first place. You're looking at the 500. Dude, we can in 4.
Oh, I'm sorry. If we were 500, if we were over 500, like a game over, we'd be in 7th place. Oh, if we were only about maybe a couple of games over 500, like New York, we'd be in number 6
You keep
place.
mentioning New York like they didn't pick up Jalen Brunson, right? You make it seem like they don't have killers on that squad right now. They got exactly what they needed. They got a dependable
They are a better
scoring
team, but
point guard. I mean, they have a pretty good roster, man.
okay.
You got RJ Barrett, you got Jalen Brunson, you got Evan Fournier. You know, they got a squad. They
We'll
can
see what
score.
happens. I don't think they're going anywhere, but they have a decent team so far.
Julius
I
Randle,
don't think they're going to go anywhere.
Cam Reddish.
But what I'm trying to say is why aren't the Bulls should be above them? They should be above them. That's all I'm saying. So with that, you want to wrap it up?
Yep, we'll wrap it up. So again, you know, that does wrap it up for this show here because we'll do another show on NBA, a little bit more in-depth NBA. Right now, the focus is more on the NFL. Things are still developing in the NBA. So right now, you know, we of course cover our Bulls. If something special is happening, yeah, we'll talk about other teams. But for the time being, we do want to thank you again. You know, you got Christmas coming up this weekend, so Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Thank you for watching and supporting, listening. You know, I see we got some extra followers, you know, on our podcast. So thank you again for following and listening on a weekly basis. We do appreciate you. With that being said, shouts out again to YouTube for having us on, you know, on letting us, you know, use that platform for our show. Podcast, we're on Spotify, Google, Apple, Samsung Podcast, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, you know, Spotify. If I didn't say it already, you'll find us all there. So again, thank you. Have a good night, and we'll do a show after the Christmas games.
Yep. And Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope you and your families have a wonderful and safe and healthy Christmas. To everyone out there, and thank you for listening. And we will see you next week for another episode of Sports Opinions with Regular Guys. Again, I'm Frank. This is Mike.
Mike.
Merry Christmas, everyone, and take care.